the kind of
Absolutely.
topics when we bring
Absolutely.
you and Katie and all our good friends at the university. This is going to fit beautifully.
Did she give you
Oh God.
she give you good copy? I hope on Monday. Good content. She gave you good content on Monday. I hope.
So she is.
She's a much better professor than
literally hit cancel.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Noon Show with Lisa and Johnny. We are coming to you live and streaming everywhere. The Noon Show airs Monday through Friday from noon until 1 o'clock Central Time. Each day, we bring you engaging conversations, fresh perspectives, and stories that connect us all. Johnny and I would like to invite you to join us along with today's show guest, Dr. Lawrence Capello, professor from the University of Alabama. So, for today's show, pull up a chair, sit back, and relax. And now, without further ado, here's Johnny.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hey, Sunshine. Good to hear your voice.
Hey, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great to be heard.
We're so thankful that you have joined us today on FM 100.1 and streaming everywhere. So thank you for joining us today. We're going to have a great conversation, and we're going to get to it pretty soon because today we're going to be talking about privacy. That's
I love
going
it.
to be a great topic in this social media environment that we're in. So you guys stick with us. This is going to be fun. And
Yeah.
I tell you what, we're glad you joined us. Thank you for
Got my
joining us
glasses.
every day where we build community one conversation at a time. And we're going to have a great conversation.
You know, I've never done this before, but before we even get to our community announcements, I'm going to drop the first question so that our listeners can be thinking about it. Here's the
Okay.
first question.
Okay.
Is privacy dead?
Mm,
Be thinking about that in terms of your cell phone,
That's right.
all kinds of modern technology,
that's right.
but also listen to our announcements.
Well, true. In terms of preparation, did a little bit of work on that. And you're exactly right, Sunshine, that social media is invading our lives. And how is that influencing our privacy? So this is going to be a great conversation with some very practical applications for our audience. And we're looking forward. Lawrence, always good to have you in the studio with us, one of our favorite people, and always a great conversation. So, Lawrence, thank you for coming to see Miss Lisa and I. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
He's going to be
thank
on the mic
you.
in just a second.
Absolutely. So we have just a few quick announcements we'd like to make today. Would you like to start, Johnny Rocket?
Sure. This is a really special group of young people out at the University of Alabama, our students who do so much in their service area. And it's a group called KESEM, KESEM, KESEM.
Yes.
And these young people serve other young people whose parents are going through cancer. And just a really great service organization. And we want to support them. And you can too by going to Make the Magic Gala, which is going to be on March the 27th over at the University of Alabama Student Center. You can purchase tickets, you can donate, and help these young people who are really serving a lot of kids who are really suffering because their parents are suffering with cancer.
That's right.
And if you want to donate, simply go to donate.kesem, that's KESEM, donate.kesem.org/Alabama MTM26. Let's help these young people do their service work because they are a great organization.
I agree. Here's a great initiative that is brought to us by Tuscaloosa Public Library. It's called the Repair Cafe.
We love that.
I'm going to become a frequent flyer over there. I love the folks over at the library, right away.
They fix screaming goats.
They do fix screaming goats, just so you know, in all different kinds of ways. They can fix the screaming mechanism, and if, say, the goat loses an ear, they'll
They
just
can fix the ear too.
3D print another one, right?
That's exactly
So
right.
if you would like to participate in the next Repair Cafe, first of all, just keep in mind it needs to be something that you can either carry up the stairs because it is on the second floor of the library,
Mhm.
and or they do have an elevator So
Don't take a refrigerator though.
don't take a refrigerator. So they might not actually repair it. They might teach you how to repair it.
Yeah.
Just as a little, just so you know,
Thank goodness.
prepare yourself. But it's a very valuable service that they offer our community. And that's
Yeah.
going to be on March the 28th. This is just the next one. They do this regularly. Again, March the 28th from 12 until 3 o'clock. Tuscaloosa Public Library. You know, if you have any questions at all, 205-345-5820.
And also next week on the 27th, out at which church? I forget.
Oh, Grace
Presbyterian. I'm sorry, Grace Presbyterian. There's a fundraiser for Table of Grace. Great organization, and you can be part of this too. It's on Wednesday, March the 25th at 11 to 1, and it's their 18th annual Empty Bowls event, which raises awareness about hunger and helps fund the Table of Grace food pantry. And you can be part of that just simply with a $25 donation at the door. You can partake in a meal of soup and bread and support someone else who's going hungry.
You can, if you're in a hurry for an extra $5, they'll pack it to go for you. But
Yes, they will.
But if you can stay and hang around, they've got entertainment as well. And also they have tickets to sell for, it was a raffle, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. And also, remind everybody Saturday is the Literacy Council of West Alabama function at Government Plaza, starting at, I believe, 10 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
and downtown. And got lots of great groups involved. Great way to get involved in literacy. This is for the whole family. So y'all show up down at Government Plaza on Saturday morning, have some fun, and support a great cause.
Yeah. What else we got going on, Johnny Rocket?
Oh, goodness. Only a minute for this one because we're going to be talking about this a long time. But if you want to go with the Noon Show on a great adventure, you need to sign up now with Travel Bugs because we're going to Barcelona, the French Riviera, and Italy on Virgin Cruise Lines with Travel Bug Company. And you can go with us. It's next year, leaving Barcelona on July the 4th.
Mhm.
And if you want to go with us and want some more information, simply go to my favorite website. Hello at travelbugcompany.com. That's hello at travelbugcompany.com. Y'all go join us. We're going to have an adventure next
It
year.
is going to be great. So Johnny, here's what people don't always realize.
What's that?
Okay. The Bearfield College of Arts and Sciences touches almost everything.
Oh, that's right. From the lab bench to the main stage to the policy table.
You've got researchers studying advanced materials, environmental systems, nutrition, physics.
That's my favorite subject.
Mhm.
And down the hall, though, they also will be rehearsing a performance, analyzing literature, translating global research into real world impact.
That's the power of arts and sciences. It's not just one discipline.
That's right.
It's the foundation for all of them.
And employers know critical thinking, communications, analytical skills. That's the Bearfield College DNA.
If your student wants flexibility, opportunity, and a launch pad for leadership,
Start at artsandsciences.ua.edu.
the Bearfield College of Arts and Sciences, built for what's next. Roll Tide and roll research.
That's exactly right. What great partners they are.
I agree. All right. Before your phones, listeners, report back what you're actually thinking about me and Johnny. Let's take a quick break. You've been listening to the Noon Show on FM 100.1. Don't go away. We will be here
See you
right back.
Yeah.
Okay. I think maybe we could have done 2 live reads in a row. I don't know.
Do what?
Maybe we could have done 2 live reads in a row. I'll ask Carol. I'm going to start asking Carol everything. Maybe. Because I don't know. What?
We could have. Yeah.
I think it would have been better.
I'm thinking timing wise, we could have done 2.
Let's come back with Lawrence and let's decide a time. It's not going to be 12:30. So we'll do 1 read or 2 reads.
Let's do 2 reads when we come back.
Okay. What time do we go to break then?
12:25.
Okay. All right, let's do that. So we're going to do number 3
Okay.
here,
Let's go 12:25. That'll get us back in by 12:30.
and let's do.
Yeah,
That's good.
that'll work.
That's good thinking, Johnny.
I'll
Right.
make sure I shut up by 12:25.
12:25. It's Clayton's. It's Clayton's for you, Lawrence.
How about this?
I would never think of crossing here. Transfer to Ole Miss or something.
We're
I'm in a
really
crazy mood. I
trying.
had no
We're
sleep.
really
last
trying.
Oh no. I was in your neck of the woods not that
Oh,
long
yeah,
ago.
you
I
had
was
that
down in Auburn a couple
Johnny,
weeks
how
ago.
was that
Oh,
sleep
were you?
study?
I did a sleep study.
How was it? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah? You didn't sleep?
Well, I did. I don't know how much. They asked me this morning, how long do you think you slept last night? I said, well, 6 hours. And they said, no, you probably actually slept about 4. And they said you were tossing and turning and said you were having problems because you're wired up like crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I
And
bet.
we'll do number 6.
And I'm a side sleeper. So I was worried about
Pulling a cord
pulling the cord or taking the
and messing
wires.
everything up.
I mean, they had wires in your head. I mean, everything.
Oh, we're all over the place. I've done slip,
And
3 there.
but they woke me up, which is my normal.
Oh, Carol.
time.
We got feedback from Carol.
Woke me up about 5:30, which is kind of my normal.
She
time.
said it was tight.
So.
We got good feedback.
So. Yeah, it was.
Do you
I'll
want to
tell you more.
Can I grab this one? Can I grab this one or should I walk in?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Because we're going to, well,
Welcome back to the Noon Show right here on FL
Woo,
100.1
yeah.
streaming everywhere. Thank you so much for being part of the Noon Show family. And I tell you what, we've got a great conversation getting ready to start with Lawrence Capello.
we do. In case you were just now joining us,
Yeah.
we are joined in the Noon Show studio by Dr. Lawrence Capello.
That's right.
And he is a professor at the University of Alabama. And I'm going to keep this pretty tight because I want to get to the conversation. Welcome back to the Noon Show studio, Lawrence.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, so you heard me go ahead and pose the first question to the audience. So, Dr. Capello, is privacy dead?
No, it's not. Because I'm pretty that's it. That's the end of the answer. I'm positive that everyone listening to this show right now has a password on their phone. No, I'm positive that everyone who's listening to this right now has a lock in their front door and probably has blinds or curtains in some of their windows. Pretty sure everyone listening to the show has a dark little secret that they're going to take to the grave. And I'm positive that nobody listening to this show right now would be okay with me taking a year's worth of their unfiltered internet search.
Oh, my goodness.
Right.
Wow.
But it's a really reasonable question.
Yikes.
Privacy isn't dead. Anyone who says that it is, I dare you to hand your unlocked phone to a stranger for 5 minutes and try not to have a panic attack, right? But
Right.
at the same time, it's a totally reasonable question because we do have this huge problem. Our privacy does seem to be rapidly deteriorating in the face of these kind of amazing technological marvels that I love and that, are the kind of defining aspect of our age. And people today, you and I, we all enjoy way less privacy than our parents and grandparents did when they were our age.
Yeah.
And that's concerning because privacy is really important. There are parts of your life, my life, your listeners' lives that are nobody else's business, full stop. It doesn't matter if you're liberal or conservative. It
That's
doesn't matter
correct.
if you're rich or poor.
I
It doesn't
agree.
matter what part of the country we live in. On a fundamental level, everybody has the right to keep certain aspects of their life private. Privacy is essentially human dignity. Privacy creates space for intimacy with you and your loved ones. Privacy is a prerequisite for freedom and liberty. If you read our Constitution, there's a lot of privacy in there. The Third Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, just for starters. We believe as Americans that part of being American is keeping people in power at arm's length. Right, and being able to live as individuals. And above all, privacy is nothing to be ashamed of. It's a fundamental aspect of human condition, no matter where you're from, no matter what time you lived in, where in this planet you are. Every human being on some level has this base desire for privacy. The devil's just in the details. So it's important. We're living in interesting times for privacy, but no, privacy is not that.
Privacy is not dead. I love that. Let's just say that's a proclamation from Dr. Capello. I love it. So I just kind of wanted to think about this in terms of our cell phones. So think about this. If someone followed you around all day taking notes on everything you did, would you call it normal or a violation?
I would probably get in that person's face and be like, hey, what's going on? No, but I'm I'm a professor of legal and constitutional history, right? My area is pre-law, and my area specifically is the right to privacy. That's what I write about that's what I teach about at the university. The golden rule for privacy law in the United States, which I think could help answer this question, is every American has what's called a reasonable expectation of privacy. So if you say that someone's violating your privacy, you go to a judge. What they're going to look at in the courtroom is say, did that person reasonably violate your privacy? If someone's following you around on the street, you don't really have a reasonable expectation of privacy, right? Like, it's a public space. Now, if that person follows you into the bank and looks over your shoulder when you're entering your PIN code, right? That is a reasonable expectation of privacy. These things are super fluid, right? Like, this idea of, is this a violation? Is it not a violation? Our society is kind of going to determine what's reasonable and what's not, and then take it from there. And a lot of those areas aren't going to be black and white. They're going to be gray.
Well, do you think those standards are actually evolving?
They absolutely do. I think that even when you look at television in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the things that celebrities wouldn't share about their personal lives is, astounding. I don't know if you know your history, but when Betty Ford went on television as first lady and started talking about a history of alcoholism that afflicted her family, that was a mind-shattering moment in media. If you study the history of media, the fact that someone in that position would open up about that, whereas now those vulnerabilities and stuff like that, in a lot of ways, when you look at my students' generation, who absolutely care about privacy, by the way, I'm telling you this as a dad and as somebody who spends a lot of time with young people because of my job. Of course, they care about privacy. But for some of them, their biggest fear is in many ways not being seen, right? So whether it's on social media and whether people recognizing and documenting the things that they do. So there's definitely a generational schism over here. There's definitely different standards that evolve over time. The law evolves over time, our Constitution and the way these things are interpreted evolves over time. The Supreme Court over the last 20 years answered really interesting questions about, do you have a Fourth Amendment protection for your phone? Because it doesn't say cell phone in the Fourth Amendment. The court said 9-0 that you do. Do you have, protection against GPS tracking in your car? You do. It's just, people need to get a warrant is what I'm saying. They can't just, go, free for all. So these expectations change, and it's important to pay attention to how they're changing.
Yeah, and Dr. Capella, with the social media explosion, I mean, we hear that our phones listen to us and that, all these contraptions that we got listen to us and hear things. What puts our privacy at risk today? I mean, it seems like social media has invaded our lives. What puts us at risk?
That's a great question.
Sure. So to live in the modern world means that you're dumping every day these little snippets of data as you go about your day, right? What you checked on your phone, what you saw. Now, some of them are voluntary, like going on social media and talking about your day is pretty voluntary. But keeping a log of where your cell phone has been, like from what cell tower it connected to, right? Or what Wi-Fi your laptop connected to, which is a way of reviewing where you were, right? Or if you have OnStar or GPS in your car, right? And you have a subscription service and then following those around, those little snippets of data individually on their own, it's not that big of a deal, right? It's like, honestly, who cares that you bought a water bottle online, right? Or who cares that like you binge watched Netflix Stranger Things, right? Or a new documentary that just came out. Now, the problem is when all of those little bits of data are then reassembled and they create this big picture of your life. That's the big privacy problem that we're seeing in the modern age. Imagine like a puzzle piece, right? On its own, it doesn't really reveal anything. But when you put 500 of them together, suddenly there's this big picture. And a lot of privacy protection now is paying attention to those little snippets of data. I'm not saying don't drop data. That would be crazy, right? Like, I'm not a privacy advocate that's like in the bunker off the grid somewhere talking about how the government's reading my mind and all that, right? That's not what I'm saying. But I'm also saying you shouldn't just blindly consume these things. So much of what modern privacy protection is, what the law is, what I focus on, what I write about, what I do, is not so much about keeping your information from being collected, because that's not going to work, right? I like 2-day shipping. I like using Amazon. I like using my phone. I'm on social media. I think the internet's amazing. It's horrible, but it's also like amazing. It's about protecting what can and can't happen to your data after it's collected. Right? You can we're Americans, we should be greedy. You should have your cake and eat it too. This idea of you can have privacy or you can have social media, or you can have privacy or you can have 2-day shipping, or you can have privacy or you can have national security. That's not really the way the world works. Somebody who says that is usually that's a kid's thing, right? Like, be greedy. You should be able to have privacy and also enjoy the conveniences of the modern world.
Amen to that.
And the way you do that is by policing what people, and by people I mean companies. It's not so much Orwell in 1984. I mean, it is a little bit, right? But in a lot of ways, it's not the government that has your data. It's like all these modern tech companies that have it, and then the government gets it from them. And the tech companies aren't trying to rule you like the Illuminati. They're trying to sell you stuff, right? Like they want to give you better targeted ads, and they want to, like hit your algorithm so they know exactly what's going on. Sometimes that's super
Enhance your
shady.
experience.
And sometimes it's just fine. It's I'm a capitalist. It's capitalism. You're selling things. It's
Sure.
good advertising, right? The question, you should though have a choice. If you gave your information to Amazon, whether or not Amazon gets to share that with somebody else, right? You should have a choice if you use Spectrum as an internet provider about whether or not they can give your browser history to a third-party company and make a little side hustle off of it,
Absolutely.
right? So about protecting data after it's collected. That's what's important.
Right. I wanted to circle the wagons back around for just a second to the evolving standards of privacy. You mentioned Betty Ford and her revelation. So I thought about this, and I would like to get your take on this. So talk shows, for example, for whatever reason, Oprah Winfrey comes to mind. I would say that has had such an effect on our culture is in terms of we're more willing to be open about things that used to be considered private. We don't talk about that in public, but people get on national TV and will admit all kinds of things. What do you think about that? Just about, yeah.
I think if people want to share, they want to share. I'd also say anyone getting on national TV and talking about personal stuff is probably giving you a curated version of that, right?
Good point.
So let's think
Sure.
about like why privacy is one of the reasons privacy is important. I know we have one more minute. When you come back, I'm going to give you some tips on how to protect your privacy in the modern
Okay.
age. But
That's what I was hoping.
let's define privacy as your ability to control the information that's out there about you, right? And who has access to it.
Great
So again,
definition.
let's say privacy,
like
it's
that.
imperfect, but it works, right? Your ability to control the information that people have about you, right? And limit access to that information. Why do you want control over it? The information we choose to reveal to people and to whom and what allows us to shape our reputation, right? It lets us shape how other people perceive us. That's why there's things I'll share with my family that I won't share with my friends, that I'll share with my friends, that I won't share with my students, that I share with my students, that I won't share with, my bosses, right? That these are things that at the end of the day, we choose what bits of ourselves we want to communicate to people because we want to control how they perceive us. We don't get complete control. You're not sociopaths, right? People get it right. To think about what they want with you. So when I see people on talk shows, particularly people whose careers are going to be public facing, I think in a lot of ways, they're choosing what bits, I'm not calling them liars. I'm saying they choose what bits of information they're presenting to the world, because in a lot of ways that creates a kind of currency now, right? In media,
Sure.
It makes them personable. And that's what social media is too. People don't go on social media and just share the deepest, darkest parts of their lives. They curate what they're sharing out. Social media isn't necessarily you, it's a representation of you.
Very well
Well,
articulated.
and
Yes.
it stimulates some other follow-up questions because, when we get back, I really want to talk a little bit about the tips that you've got, but also the controls that are not in place that I've got really some puzzling thoughts about, for example, the public sector, how they use our data and those kind of things, and how do we protect ourselves. So I'm glad Dr. Cabela's with us today.
Me too. But Johnny, people think Hudson Pool is just about engagement rings.
Well, they'd be wrong about that now.
So wrong.
Yeah.
But, they have beautiful fashion jewelry, colored gemstones, luxury watches,
Mhm.
engraving, repairs, even bridal registry services.
They do. And they've got if you've got a piece, for example, sitting in a drawer somewhere that you would like to restructure, repair,
Bring it in.
oh,
They'll
okay.
take care of it. That's what a hometown jeweler does.
Well, they've been part of the Tuscaloosa community for almost 41 years.
That's amazing. And they understand that jewelry isn't just jewelry. It's memory, it's legacy.
It's moments.
Mhm.
That's what
Hudson
it is.
Pool Fine Jewelers, downtown Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, visit them at 1111 Greensboro Avenue or go to hudsonpool.com for the same great service and merchandise.
And tell them that Lisa and Johnny from the Noon Show sent
Right,
you.
We'll see you there.
Yeah.
But Lisa, I
Yeah.
had another one of those big moments the other day at Bryant Bank.
Oh, what happened?
Well, I walked in and several of the bankers said, "Hey, Johnny, what's happening? What can we do for you today?"
Johnny, that sounds pretty normal, actually.
Well, actually it is. But you know what they do? they listened to my answer.
Well, imagine that.
Yeah, they helped explain everything step by step because they're professionals.
They are, and that's what good banking should be.
No pressure, no confusion, just helpful people doing their job well.
And making you feel comfortable while they do it.
Oh, absolutely. I may go back just to say hello.
Exactly. You can visit Bryant Bank in any one of their beautiful locations, North River, Northport, and beautiful downtown T-Town, or online at bryantbank.com.
And remember, they're an equal housing lender and a member of
FDIC.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. Okay, guys, we're up against a break. We're talking privacy today, and ironically, we're going to step away for a moment where nobody's tracking us except the station clock. You've been listening to the Noon Show on FM 100.1.
See
Don't
you
go
soon.
away. We will be here right back. Okay, I want another text from Carol, our new coach.
What? I want to go into a different arena for a little bit.
Sure.
Social media is one, of course, you get into the public affairs side of this, the debate, should government control these companies?
Right.
That's a debate all by itself. But in the governmental side, I sense they know more about us than they ever have. And
Mhm.
that to me is the bigger issue.
Yeah, that kind of
How government can invade your life without permission. And that started, if I'm not mistaken, you'll correct me, after 9/11. Isn't that when that really started? Because Bush, I know, was president. He approved some things that allows the government to interfere in our lives.
Sure, absolutely. That though, what you found, Edward Snowden.
Oh, yeah.
So
Sure.
the thing that Snowden revealed wasn't so much the government was tracking you;
Yes.
it's that the government was tracking you in league with Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, all the other things.
Right.
The government gets most of their information from the private
From the
sector.
private sector.
So Orwell got it wrong, right? And I'll talk about
Oh,
this. Like,
oh.
it wasn't necessarily, they forced all the devices in our houses, right? After 9/11, it was we all bought them. We all bought the devices
Yes.
on our own, right? In
Yes.
exchange for entertainment.
That's right.
So the government thing, I got something for you for the market thing, like private versus public. I'll talk about the government relationship
Okay.
with private, but then also, if you can give me some space, that'll I think go over with the audience. I have a lot to talk about with parents,
Yeah.
parents and kids in particular,
Yeah.
because you talked about generations and stuff like that. Part of modern
I love to hear that.
parenting is going to require
But
focusing
to
on
your
this
point,
thing.
the private sector, I'm a free market.
Yes, so much.
And I understand that part of it.
Mhm.
But at the same time, they are so big, so invasive.
Mhm.
There's got to be some safeguards somewhere.
Sure, I agree, and there are some, but also I don't think that they're going to work. But what you're seeing in the market also is certain companies are aware of this, and this comes over parents too. Parents, particularly upper class and upper middle class parents, you have the privacy market is booming on the market side, right? Apple spent the last 4 years running ad campaigns talking about privacy. That's iPhone. Google runs privacy ads all the time. VPNs, which are those things that direct
Running ads and doing something are two different things.
they have done a lot of things. One thing was
It's so hot in here.
after the San
I know,
Diego
yeah, I was about to-
shootings
I was
in
I wanna open
2014.
that window a
Apple
little bit.
refused
Will you
to give
just
the
check
government
and see
access
what the
to phones
thermostat
because they
says?
said we're not giving government encryption and the government. I,
Such a complex.
yeah, it is. It is a complex thing, and we'll lean into the complexity. I can also talk about what good privacy law looks like, but at the end of the day,
Is it
someone's
more?
saying,
Oh, it is cooler
we have the
outside.
weakest
It is.
privacy laws of all the advanced democracies, and it's not going to change.
Because I think
Okay.
if I'm sitting in the audience, that's probably going to be my concern.
Sure. So I want to talk about something called. Yeah.
Let's pause at 12:42. Do the library. Go to commercial. We come back. Okay.
Sure.
12:42.
That
Okay.
sounds good.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Just do one commercial.
That's it. And we're done.
That's fine.
Sure.
It's okay.
And we'll
with me.
do.
And,
So we'll do the
and-
library at 12:42.
Do you want me to do the tips? Too? Can I
Yes.
start with the tips?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that'll open to
Oh,
parenting,
yeah.
and then we can do the other
Yeah.
stuff.
I'm just gonna. We should just say what you got for us next because I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if we can inform our audience.
We have to talk about this.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Noon Show with Lisa and Johnny. We are over here yakking our heads off.
We're
with
having
Lawrence.
such a good time with Lawrence because he's such a wealth of knowledge and really significant information that we all need.
Yes. Are you posting the next question, or we're going to say 1, 2, 3, go?
Well, we were going to talk about, well, no, Lawrence was going to talk a little bit about some tips on how we can protect our
Well, I want
privacy.
to know all
And
those
I heard
tips.
one of them talking about parental
Yeah.
management, parental help. So
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get
Come
to
on
it.
back.
We
Come
don't
on
want to
back
run out
in.
of time on this one. Let's go for it, Lawrence.
All right, a couple of quick upgrades that everyone can make to their lives that won't cost any money. The first is cover your laptop webcams. Your laptop has a web camera in the front of it. You can spend $2 or $3 and get what's called a slide. It's a attractive little thing. No one's seen one. You
Got
slide
it
it
at
over
a
and over.
conference. Yeah.
There's a reason the FBI directors have electrical tape over their laptops. A lot of companies won't let you use a computer if you don't have one. Hacking webcams is huge business. It's a global problem. Again, you can buy these little slides. Think about some of the more private things people do in front of their laptops. I'm not trying to get, I'm on the radio here. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I've heard
Whether it's
stories.
you, whether it's your kids, whether it's your loved ones. Now, imagine you get an email the next day from an anonymous account, and attached to the email is a video of you doing that thing, right? And then the person says, you send me $5,000 in Bitcoin to this wallet in 48 hours, or I'm sending this to everyone in your contact list and everyone at your job. This happens all the time. You don't hear about it that
I've
much
never
because it's
heard
something
that.
people want to keep private.
Of
FBI cybercrimes deals with this all the time. So do local law enforcement.
Terrifying.
It's terrifying. And again, it happens all the time. You don't need hundreds of dollars of encryption. You need a $2 little thing that blocks your webcam. When you're using Zoom and you're on a work call, open it up.
That's
And then
not
when you're
okay.
not, turn it off. It's the simplest thing you can do. And it's a major privacy upgrade. And,
Okay.
and do it for your kids' laptops as well.
Just do it.
You can buy a 6-pack for like $8 on Amazon. They're called privacy slides or webcam slides. The second thing is all of your devices have privacy settings. Take 5 minutes and just learn how to use them. Sometimes the default settings on your phone or on your computer are the least privacy friendly. And all you need to do is click a switch and suddenly information that was being shared isn't being shared. Do this for your devices, do this for your kids' devices, super easy. And if any of it seems confusing, go on YouTube, type in how to make my iPhone most privacy friendly or how to make my Android phone. It's fine. There's going to be someone there walking you through it. It takes 5 minutes and you're good. It can be as a professional, I'm saying, it can make a huge difference. And just with
Do
a
you have
small.
to go through all the different apps to do that?
No, usually, things are centralized. It depends on what machine you're using, but it's worth the 5 to 10 minutes. It can really just reduce your digital footprint. The last thing is we were talking about generational things. If you're a parent and you have kids, you have to do 2 things. One is you need to have a privacy talk. In the way that, there used to be jokes on TV about parents having the sex talk with their kids, birds and bees and all that kind of stuff. There is a talk now you have to have about privacy. I don't just mean the typical stuff like, hey, don't share photos of yourself. Look, for 15, 16-year-olds, in a lot of ways, that's what the new dating is. And it's horrifying that it is what it is. I'm not just talking about that. I'm also talking about basic understanding of not sharing everything about themselves online. You need to sit down, have conversations with your kids for 2 reasons. One, because they don't understand these things and they scroll mindlessly, but also you need to take stock of your own sharing. In the field, this is called sharenting. The amount of parents that just post images and private information about their kids to publicly available social media sites. Internationally, Interpol says that by 2030, 2/3 of identity theft on planet Earth are going to come from sharenting, which is people sharing their kids' lives too much online.
What year did you
And
say?
then by 2030, 2/3 of identity theft will be from somebody's kids, not adults. You know why that's perfect for identity thefts? Is kids don't apply for credit cards, so they're not even gonna know their identity was stolen, right? So it's this thing that you don't have. Go if you're a parent. I'm not saying don't put your kids on social media. I'm saying if you're posting information and things about your kids, like, hey, happy birthday to my 8-year-old. Great, now everyone knows your kid's birthday, right? Which is if you're an identity theft, something that's kind of important, right? They know where you live. They know what street you're on. This is information that's publicly available. Just put it behind private settings. I'm not saying don't share it, but share it with friends and families and loved ones. Maybe don't do it and completely, use privacy features. The second thing is set up a Google alert for your kids. You know what a Google alert is? Anytime your name pops up, Google lets you know that something new on the internet has your name. Do it for your kids. It takes 3 minutes, but if someone is using your kid's identity, and again, it's happening, 2/3 of identity theft is going to be from minors. Right now, we're like 8, 9, 10 years old. Set up a Google alert with your kids' names. That way, if someone is posting information about your kids, it'll pop up and you'll be able to take action. The last thing with kids is if they feel like something's meaningful conversations with your kids about privacy are important, but if they feel like something's off, like someone in their school is bullying them using their private data, like maybe they're getting weird emails, what you need to do is teach your kids to sound the alarm. State attorneys generals, law enforcement, the FBI, they take these things really seriously, especially when they concern kids. It's just one of those things that if you call, there are going to be experts that are going to be able to handle this. if it's us as adults, it gets a little more fluid. But with kids, they take those allegations incredibly seriously. It triggers a whole bunch of new laws. You need to make sure your kids don't go a month or two without saying something. Teach them that as soon as they feel like something might be off, to talk to you, talk to an adult, talk to a teacher, and sound the alarm, because there are very quick things that you can do to make these things better. And the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be for everyone involved.
That's a little scary. I'm thinking, you know, I guess they could use a kid and probably get a Social Security.
Yeah, sure.
And then that kid is kind of stuck for the rest of their lives if they're not careful.
Well, one of the things that makes us unique in this
Wow.
time and place in history, all of us, is we're the first generation of humans, right? Where we exist as two different entities. There's the flesh and blood us that's right now in this room looking at each other having this conversation.
Sure.
But then there's the digital you, right?
Yeah.
Which is all of that information and data that's out there about you. And that digital you actually largely shapes how the world is going to unfold itself before you, whether or not you get a house, whether or not you get a job, whether or not you get whatever. I mean, I work at the University of Alabama. The university takes professionalization and job training super seriously. There's this whole office of research and development, of economic development for students, so they can professionalize themselves when they're going on the job market, how to write a resume, how to dress for a job interview. It's really cool. And I think it's wonderful. You know, like I had a career in finance before I was a professor, you know, all about professionalizing students. I teach pre-law. It's really important. One of the first things they tell you is go on your social medias, take down anything you think is going to look unprofessional. Right? Because they realize that when you apply for a job, HR is going to start looking up and seeing if you're problematic. Now that's why the information with kids is a problem, is because your kids are also the flesh and blood that you love and snuggle with every night, but then they're also this digital entity, right?
Oh.
And you need to control that, like what your kid's digital footprint looks like, because that's going to largely determine a lot of what their future looks like. And so you want to identify problems early with that. And if you do, there's a lot of things that can help you, but it's part of being a modern parent and something parents need to talk about. What's great about it is it's not controversial. It's something that, you know, I give talks at high schools. These are things that happen a lot. It's important.
Yeah, Lawrence, as you talk, you know, the complexities of this is really overwhelming when you think about it. I mean, there's got to be a way to and we were talking a little bit off mic about the complexities that the public sector buys this data from the private sector.
Mhm.
And as you and I have talked, we're free marketers.
Absolutely.
We understand the profit motive, but there's got the debate between the public sector's responsibilities and the private sector's response. It's got to be a major conversation, I would think.
Yeah, there are conversations. As someone who studies this for a living, there's this old joke. This guy's talking to another guy, and he says, "Hey, he says, my brother ran for Congress," and he goes, "Oh yeah, what does he do now?" And he says, "Nothing. He got elected." Right? This idea of Congress passing meaningful privacy legislation is something that, as an expert who looks into this stuff, I just don't see it happening. I'm a capitalist. I believe in the free markets. And that's the argument that usually wins the day. No, regulation will keep us from not being competitive with China. It will keep us from not being competitive with things. And it's unfortunate. So what you need to see is people making consumer choices for companies that are more pro-privacy. Now, some companies give you lip service about the fact that they care about your privacy and then go around and sell your data. Other companies really don't. This is America, and in America, money talks. What you need to do is show companies that they can get rich by protecting privacy. Apple, for example, for the last 3 or 4 years, their entire ad campaign has been called Privacy. That's iPhone. Look at the commercials. They're on YouTube. They're hilarious. Apple is known for having super strong encryption and not selling, your data, at least in certain ways and shapes and
That's
forms.
good to know.
The VPN market, virtual private networks, which are now super cheap. You can buy subscription services. Every time you go on your phone or your computer, you can just turn it on, and then no one can track you anymore. Like your internet search history, everything suddenly becomes private. That used to be something that only crazy people and really rich, developers, engineers who had corporate information that was very valuable, or government workers who had security clearances would use. Now this stuff is blowing up. Cybersecurity is a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? That's all about protecting information after it's been collected. If you want to be proactive about your privacy, the first thing you can do is just research which companies are better. I could give you a list of laws that if I could snap my fingers and have passed, wouldn't mess with people's profits, or at least not too much, and would still maintain free markets while also protecting people's privacy. I'm a pragmatist. Reasonably, my read is that we're not going to get there. You will see privacy legislation that protects kids, but one of the biggest things also to show you that there's a free market solution here, that privacy and profits can mix, is a sector that everybody should keep their eye on. It's called ORM, Online Reputation Management. And right now, for a price, if you want, you can enter your name, and it's basically like, Norton antivirus, but for you and for your idea. These people will monitor anytime your name pops up anywhere on the internet. They will let you know as soon as it does. If you don't like what's being said, they'll immediately file actions if they want, depending on what like legal motions can happen. Now, for you and us, maybe we want it, maybe we don't want it. This is something that you're definitely seeing upper class and upper middle class parents start to do for their kids as they realize that, we're prisoners of our recorded past now, right? Like this idea of one small mistake that's permanent on data. And so there are ways to have things either erased or almost erased on the internet. And ORM is blowing up as a sector. And it's something I think more and more people are going to do. It does think that only, people with money will have privacy, but I think that most things will scale. And eventually it's something that you'll see everybody take advantage of.
Thank you for that, Lawrence. That is incredible information. So we are about to go to break, but before we go, we're going to talk about one of our wonderful, wonderful sponsors. And so Johnny, sometimes the biggest problem in a company is the one nobody can see.
Oh, you mean when everyone's working hard, but things still kind of feel stuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, that's where Ken DeWitt comes in. That's our friend. He helps leadership teams install the EOS system, which is an entrepreneurial operating system, so that the whole company runs on a clear system.
Yeah, vision, priorities, accountability.
Right, and meetings that actually solve problems instead of just creating more of them.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Ken was the first expert EOS implementer in Alabama. He's guided over 100 companies through the process very successfully.
Yeah, so if your business feels busy but not focused,
Well, maybe it's time for a better operating system.
learn more at implementer.eosworldwide.com/Ken-DeWitt. So guys, stay with us because this conversation might be the most important one your data didn't ask permission for. You've been listening to The Noon Show on FM 100.1. Don't go away. We will be right back.
You want to know something that's messed up?
Please tell me you're leaving all of your notes behind for us.
You should read the book.
To read it. Oh, good point.
But the
Okay.
This is one of those examples.
Hello, I
I'm
just gave you the book.
so happy that we download podcasts so we can go back and listen to it. Because some of the suggestions you're making, are practical. They're applicable.
Thank you.
I just love it.
If you could plug it, if you can.
Yeah,
it's
we'll
totally no
plug
problem.
that.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You want to hear something messed up in terms of how much the algorithms know about you? They just found out they subpoenaed some documents for Instagram's algorithm. But if you're a girl aged 18, I think it was 16 to 25, if you delete more than 4 selfies within like a 36-hour period, that's when they start triggering like makeup and fitness ads, right? Because it's like the algorithm,
Triggering what now?
makeup and fitness ads, because the algorithm's aware that if you deleted that many selfies in a short period of time, you're probably feeling like insecure, right? And so like it hits you with that. And that's just kind of one example of the whatever. No one else can read your DMs, but they do. They know if you've been through a breakup or something like
they
that.
have,
I've
They
got,
have that
I've got
pri-
some
they're supposed to have that
off-air
privacy
questions for you
encrypted.
after the show.
but they're actually, they said yesterday they are removing the privacy encrypted of Instagram private messages of May 8th, even though they already, saying that, but like, first of all, I just learned that you have to turn that on.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which I think that should already be on automatically. So, because I was just reading about it because I was trying to figure out why. And then it was, and someone was like, well, it's because we had a drop in people not putting it on.
Right.
It's because you didn't tell people that you could put it on.
Yeah.
So
So you're
that's
gonna apply
why,
the book?
when it's, and that's just an excuse.
I agree.
Because and you had mentioned the camera thing, and it reminds me of a CIA whistleblower talking about how the CIA can go. They can.
Was that John
I think so.
Kiriakou?
Yeah.
He's like everywhere right now.
Yeah, I think so.
You've
Yeah.
seen his content.
And he talks about it like he talks about the stuff the CIA does like so nonchalant. Like he'll be talking about how like they waterboarded him and killed him and then revived him again just to torture him again.
Just seemed they were like,
And
hey,
he's-
did you ever kill anyone? And
Yeah.
he was like, no. He goes,
And-
but
and
I
the CIA
accidentally put in the wrong coordinates and the Navy launched 47 cruise missiles at this building that killed like 37 people. I was like, what are you talking
But
about?
he said that the CIA can go into they can go into your TV that's off. They can go into the speakers and they can they can hear that audio, they can take, I mean, it's just.
Give me one second. If you're looking for a good way to end, if you want to do the what do you say to people who say if you're not doing anything wrong, you should have nothing to hide.
Say what now?
If you're looking for a way to end, I can tee you up well with what do you say to people who say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you should have nothing to hide.
Welcome back to the Noon Show right here on FM 100.1, streaming everywhere. And we are blessed to have Dr. Lawrence Capello with us today talking about privacy. And I'm going to put in a plug because he's got a little book. And it's a little book on privacy, 20 lessons to live by. Now, we like to keep our audience not only informed, but give you information that you can actually use. This is a great little book with a big message. And matter of fact, I'm going to read from the cover. This is a lucid, concise primer on what privacy is, why it's so important, and what you can do to protect it in the digital age. Own privacy is indispensable. And Lawrence, one of the things I like it, this is a little book you can just lay right there on your desk and refer to it so easily. So, folks, take a chance.
I love it.
Find
Yes.
Own Privacy online.
I've already
or
opened it
wherever.
up to
Oh,
the,
it's great.
to the table of contents. And so, Lawrence, we're going to want you to tell us where we go off the air, where to find this book. But I've got a question for you. Looking at the table of contents, the nothing to hide trap. Will you please expand on that? I need more information.
Yeah, one thing I get people asking a lot, and it's a good question, and it's something the government asked a lot after 9/11. It's like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you should have nothing to hide, right? And that's a commonsensical thing, right? If you're not doing anything wrong, you should have nothing to hide. Why is privacy important? If you're not doing anything wrong, you should have nothing to hide. So that's problematic for a couple of reasons. That's called the nothing to hide trap. Something privacy scholars talk about a lot. People in power have been using this combination of words in some way since the time of the Caesars, really, or at least beforehand. And if you find yourself on the receiving end of it, you have a problem, because let's look at the argument. Off the bat, it's super aggressive, right? You're suspect, right? If you have nothing to hide, then you should have, not doing anything wrong, you should have nothing to hide. You're suspect. Now, if you defend yourself and start kind of saying that, like, well, I don't want to share it, now you are in quicksand, right? You end up looking more and more guilty and less deserving of your privacy. And the person's like, hey, I was half kidding at first, but now I'm actually really worried. So I'm going to need to see your phone or your history or something like that. But when you look at the argument closely, the trap falls apart. Look at the words. If you're not doing anything wrong, you should have nothing to hide, is another way of saying all secrets are bad, right? That the things you hide or the things you're doing wrong is another way of saying all secrets are bad, right? And that's a logical fallacy. That's not true at all. Secrets aren't bad. We all have secrets. Secrets are normal. They're not just normal, they're essential. Secrets between romantic partners or close friends build trust and intimacy, right? The secrets between doctors and patients or lawyers and their clients create a space where people can be honest about their fears, their health, and their life situation. Think about business. The secrets between business associates protect innovation. They keep creative ideas from being stolen by other people. Secrets aren't the enemy. And let's be real, how interesting can you be as a person if you have no secrets, right? It's like I said before, our information about us exists in snippets. My ability to keep things secret allows me to control how other people perceive me. Not entirely, but it gives me a way to shape it. You having secrets means that you have the ability to shape how other people perceive you, your reputation. That's an essential part of navigating modern society. So to anybody who's saying, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you should have nothing to hide, that response is, what are you, a moron? That sounds like you're saying all secrets are bad. And that's not even or sinful, right? And that's not even a little bit true. Secrets are important. Secrets also help me and the people I love forge stronger relationships. Think about the best first date maybe you'll ever be on, right? Or the first time you kind of fell in love. You sit there, you talk to the person, maybe it's at a restaurant, maybe it's outdoors, whatever your vibe is. But some things won't change. And one of those things is usually connect kind of fast, right? And you talk and you feel that connection. And one of the things that you'll do or they'll do is you'll share something personal about yourself, right? And then if it's vibing, they'll do the same thing back, right? What's happening there? Secrets are a form of currency that we use to kind of establish intimacy with people, right? To bring them in, whether it's romantically, whether it's our friendship, right? And it forms stronger relationships. Those relationships are maybe the best part about being alive, right? Like at the end of the day. And privacy creates that space for intimacy, not just romantic intimacy, right? But just the intimacy you have with the people you care about, whether it's, your buddies or your family or someone that you're in love with, right? So this idea that people shouldn't have secrets or all of your secrets are sinful, that doesn't even hold up to minor scrutiny, as soon as you look at it.
Lawrence, you're really stimulating our minds today. But in today's world, using the word privacy seems to be safer. The word having a secret has negative implications in today's world. So, which I find kind of interesting that the word secrets is now kind of used as a negative. That means there's something awry. But to use the word privacy, it has a different connotation. Isn't that interesting that we even mess with words when we start talking about privacy?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But this is America. We're big on individualism here. And I think if somebody starts accusing you of being wrong because you have secrets, look, just stand up tall, look them dead in the eye and say, yeah, I have secrets and I'm not telling them to you. Anyone else have a problem with that? And you'll find that most people kind of back down, right? Everyone has secrets. Like I said before, is when you're asking at the top, is privacy dead? Everyone who's listening to this radio broadcast right now has a dark little secret inside that isn't necessarily evil, but isn't something that they're going to share with other people, and they're probably going to take it to their graves. And it's probably not nearly as bad as people would think it was if they heard it. But nevertheless, I'm not telling.
Well, and also according to one of your other book titles, it's none of their business.
You also say, be the kind of person who keeps secrets. Like, it's just something that, like, I have 2 sons. I tell that to them, and it's just, there's something to be said for being the kind of person that people can confide in and know that you're a rock, right? Knowing that you're solid.
Yes.
Be that kind of person. Like, respect other people's privacy. It's not just about respecting yours and demanding respect for yours, but be the kind of person who respects other people's privacy as well. I got into this field because I grew up in a family. I grew up in an Italian-American household where we were largely told, mind your own business, right? That there was something wrong about sticking your nose into other people's areas where it didn't belong. And that's not just an Italian thing, but it's something that, at the end of the day, keep secrets, right? Be that be that thing for other people. Don't be a gossip. Nobody likes that.
Nobody likes that. So would you give us some practical tips for protecting our digital footprint? Not just for ourselves, but for our children. What resources are out there to help train us how to do that?
There's a lot of different places you can go. A really good one might just be, so you know how you don't really know what an app's doing because it's a 100-page document you have to click I accept to before you don't.
Mm-hmm.
There's a website, do you know the expression TLDR, too long, didn't read? There's something called TOSDR, terms of service, didn't read. There are watchdog groups that will summarize those 100-page documents into like 3 or 4 privacy points that are basically just, hey, this company actually doesn't sell your data, or, this company doesn't use tracking devices. So one thing you can do is quickly just go online and find summaries of other companies' privacy policies that you're using for your kids. The second thing, like I said before, is particularly when it comes to kids, pay attention to what we call sharenting. How much of the information about your children are you putting out on the internet for everyone to see? I don't mean that you shouldn't set up privacy settings and then share with your friends and family. I know how much, particularly if you live away from your family, Facebook posts, Instagram posts are the only way the people you love see your kids who you love more than anything. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying check your privacy settings and maybe don't leave it out there for the entire world. So much of this at the end of the day is just about being mindful. And I know this sounds like a cop-out, but it's really the truth. In the way that, like, self-defense is a state of mind at the end of the day. You can learn how to fight, get yourself pepper spray, and all that stuff's important, right? Tactics are important. But most people who are experts in that space will tell you true self-defense is a state of mind, right? It's about awareness. It's about things like that. Don't engage with the internet. Don't look at your phone mindlessly. Right? Be mindful. These things are out there. You have an algorithm. We live in an attention economy, right? Where they're just trying to get you to stare at screens as much as possible because that means they generate more ad revenue, right? Like, and it's as simple as that. It's not super sinister. It's just dollars and cents and ads, right? And that's what it is. But don't scroll mindfully. If you're watching something on the internet that you think is trying to make you angry, laugh at it and be like, I see what you're doing here. You're trying to get inside my head, right? And when you're and if you're going to post something about your kids, pause for a second. Hang on. Like, where am I at here? What's going on there? And then if you're not sure about something, look up the answer. There are going to be people who answer it. Privacy advocates, privacy professionals, multiple websites and communities, whether it's from a state level, whether it's from a national level or international level. There's a whole lot of resources out there. Don't mindlessly share. Don't mindlessly scroll.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I do have a question. So what are the potential costs of some of these free apps? Speaking of privacy.
There's an expression in the tech industry, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product, right?
Ooh.
Like at the end of the day, that's what Facebook is, that's what Instagram is. And again, I'm on social media as well. Anything that's free is not free. It means they're generating revenue. One of the ways that you can really protect yourself is consider setting up what's called a VPN. This is not complicated. You buy it. It costs a couple of dollars a month, depending on where you are. I think my subscription costs like $100 a year because I buy it for the year.
VPN is virtual private.
Virtual private network. There are a
Okay.
number of great companies. Nord, Express, there's just a couple. There's a number of them that are out there. And that is a solid layer of protection that you can get on all of your devices. I think you can get 5 or 6 devices covered for, that $100 a year. And it doesn't slow down your device. It's not invasive. It doesn't do anything like that. And what it basically means is anytime your device is communicating with any app, website, or something like that, the same generic like IP address comes up, and it's not your IP address. It's just the same one. It's creating like a buffer and a middleman that creates these things. And again, it used to be something that only weirdos or people who really needed it would use, and it's just a standard thing now that like grandparents and parents and a lot of people are using. It's really gone into mainstream. If I invested in it 10 years ago, I'd have a lot more money in my pocket, right? When I saw the way these things play out. It's a growth sector that's now everywhere. Go to any major metropolitan area and you'll see ads on buses, subways, billboards. Some of the ads are hilarious. It's everywhere. So that's a nice solid layer. But if you're going to do anything, spend the $2 and get the laptop slide. Make sure you're covering your laptop.
Get the laptop slide and touch super quickly again on the ORM that you make comment
Yeah,
on. earlier.
online reputation management is something particularly for parents that people pay attention to. You can just do a straight up Google alert, that's for free, but put your kids' names and set up a Google alert. That way, if anything pops up about their digital identity, you'll immediately know. The reason kids are such a great target for identity theft is because how often are you running your kids' you don't run your kid's credit report, you don't apply for credit cards in your kids' names, right? You can have years and years and years of identity destruction from a credit and financial standpoint without ever even knowing that it happened, right? Whereas an adult, if someone stole your identity, you're probably going to find out by accident.
So most of these tips and tricks are in your book, on Privacy. Is that correct? By Lawrence Capello?
Yep. Tell
Tell us where we can find this. Let me back up. The book is actually called On Privacy. Subtitle is 20 Lessons to Live by Lawrence Capello. Where can we buy this book?
Everywhere, Amazon, anywhere. Anywhere you can buy books online, it's there. On Privacy, 20 Lessons to Live By. It's a small book. It can fit in your back pocket. Meant to sit on a coffee table. You can read it in one sitting. It's also the kind of thing that's meant to kind of be just come back to from time to time. Flip open a page and something sparks your brain. I wrote it because I think privacy is super complicated. Most of the people who talk about it either sound like retail or elite professors, or they sound like conspiracy theories. I needed a concise primer in sharp, short language that just explains why these things matter. It's rooted in common sense. Without
It's basically a public service, this book.
thank you, and without disconnecting from modern society and not being a real person.
Right. And thank you, Lawrence Capello. Once again, let me say that again. Thank you, Dr. Lawrence Capello, once again for your teaching excellence.
Yeah, and what great advice today, folks. I hope you'll go back and listen to this time and time again on our podcast, pick up some really great tips, pick up the book On Privacy. And Lawrence, we cannot say thank you enough. This was just excellent information to share with our audience.
Yes. On the show tomorrow, we have Seth Panich. I have just finished reading his book,
I finished
Antique,
it last night.
his premiere novel, and we are going to talk a little bit about a film he's got coming out called The Coming. And I'm going to go ahead and close this out with the Irish Blessing again, just because I want to, I
Well,
think.
and I won't leave one word
Go
that
ahead.
I heard from Lawrence.
All right.
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
Be mindful of what you're doing. It all gets down to character and integrity and honesty, but be mindful of what you're
Be
doing.
mindful, and I would like to wish everyone a splendiferous rest of their day. We will see you on the radio tomorrow. May the road rise before you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. See you on the radio tomorrow. Woo! What a great show.
Really good stuff. I
Thank
mean,
you.
that was
I am
great.